So Transformers Prime is my favorite Transformers show. So naturally, the version of Optimus Prime from the show is one of, if not my favorite interpretations of the character. Don't get me wrong, I love this first edition figure, and honestly, for a masterpiece style Transformers Prime Optimus, tweak this a little bit, just a little bit, upscale it, and boom. This first edition Voyager is so good. However, I've kind of been getting into a different style of figure lately. While these will never replace transforming figures, I really have been enjoying figures in the style of 3Zero's DLX line. The only one I have so far is the Soundwave from the Bumblebee movie, and this is one of my favorite figures in my entire collection. Something about the design of it, the style, I just adore it. It looks gorgeous, it looks fantastic, and I really just enjoy this kind of Hot Toys Transformers style, where it's a non-transforming figure that's, nearly 12 inches tall, tons of metal, light-up functions. I've been adoring and dying for more of this in my life. So, let me introduce you to something that I just discovered a little bit ago, and something that I promptly purchased, Iron Warrior. I'm not much for third party. I'm not much of a person that goes after third-party stuff. And I actually recall someone suggesting this Iron Warrior toy to me in the IW-05 form that was more of a masterpiece scale. But as you can see right here, this is a 3-0 DLX scale styled figure. And it's got metal, it's got gorgeous paint, it's got tons of accessories, and it's a lot bigger than a Voyager class. It's even bigger than what you'd consider like leader class. This thing is very large. And for me, Transformers Prime is something so near and dear to me. Something really close that I've known and loved for over a decade. And having this super accurate to the animation robot mode high-end version of Optimus Prime, this thing so far is my favorite toy of 2023. I love it. Yes, it does not transform. This is technically not a transformer by that definition. However, this is a high-end die-cast collectible figurine of the character Optimus Prime. This doesn't replace transforming figures. There's tons of different versions of transforming Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime. Believe me, I have them. But this, looking at this right here, with all the subtle little paint applications, with the metallics, with the clear black for the windshields, for the die-cast, all the articulation, this figure is mind-blowing. It truly, truly is. I do want to show the box real quick, just super duper quick. It doesn't have too much going on. It's essentially like a big black folding box. That is essentially all this is. It has IW-07 Leader on it. That's its technical name. It is Leader, which, fair enough, he's the leader of the Autobots. It's made by Iron Warrior. It doesn't have English on the warning, unfortunately, unlike a lot of these other third parties and bootlegs I've been getting. One awesome thing on the tape, it says one shall stand and one shall fall. I think that's amazing. Because, G1 Prime said it, Movie Prime said it, TF Prime, Optimus Prime, also said it. And, man, I look at this, especially with all my nice desk lights and everything, and I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. However, before we get up close with the figure and before we get hands-on with him, he comes with a lot of stuff. He just comes with a lot of things, and we need to talk about those things. So, first and foremost, he comes with his iconic arm blasters, and these are actually two-piece. So how these go on, there is... Oop, let me wiggle it. Which direction am I wiggling? This way? This way. Wait, no, this way. Oh my gosh. There we go. So it's two-piece. So this piece plugs onto where the hand plugs in. So you plug the hand out, then you plug this in, and then you put this into there. I will show how this goes on him in a moment, but look at the detail on that. Look at that insane amount of silver. Look at all the little blue energon highlights. This is amazing. It really is. Now, the paint's not 100% perfect. There's some weird little spots, some weird little blemishes I've noticed. You do get 2 of these, thankfully. You do get 2, because, you know, it's Optimus Prime. He's got to he's got to. So because he has arm cannons, obviously he needs his swords too. So you do get the swords, and they plug in very similarly. You just unplug the hands, plug these in. And I really do appreciate how these have the armor panels that are split out. So it really kind of looks like it's transformed from the arm. Again, there's some nice little subtle energon blue in the blades. These are very, very sharp. But look at the little subtle silver edge work on this metallic red paint. And truthfully, I feel like this is very, very faithful to how the CGI animation of the show was done. Like, all the characters were metallics. They were metal in color. And they all had this little subtle battle damage. All this little subtle silver edge damage. And I think that the Iron Warrior has really captured it. These blades are amazing. I love displaying them with these. And what I'll do, I'll take one hand off and put a blade, and I'll take one hand off and put a gun, so we can kind of see how those integrate. And then, obviously, I will show this later on as well. It's Optimus Prime, so he needs to have the faceplate face. So you do get that. You do get an adapter piece. Looks like it kind of slides in. Looks like it kind of hooks something. I wonder. Maybe it's for the freaking Star Saber? Look at this. This is huge. Look at all that silver paint, and then the awesome gold, and then the gunmetal. This looks insane. And it's really big, too. This is huge. It's literally the height of the figure. It is about 12 inches long. It is immense. It's so cool. You know, it's nice that you do get this. But it is painted silver. You know, in the show, it kind of like had this blue glow to it. You know, maybe like a translucent blue or something would have been nice. But I really do appreciate that you get this. Oh, wait, you get another one. You do get one with like this, you know, pearlescent kind of, not really clear, but sort of clear blue. It really does show the kind of glow, though. I'm not going to lie. I think as a plastic color, this is probably the best choice. So that's great. It does come pre-molded with a hand on it to hold. So that is something where you can only have him have the activated Star Saber in his hand, which makes sense, you know, because whenever he held it as a Prime, it activated. So I actually do kind of appreciate that the hand's just attached to it, because it just makes it easier for him to hold it, and I'm not worried about it falling out of his hand because it's attached to his hand. So yeah, you get 2 different Star Sabers. That is insane, and these things are huge. Absolutely huge. I love it. And one thing I do want to compare, because I did kind of compare the first edition Prime. One of my few little third-party add-on accessories I do have the Dr. Wu Star Saber, because Hasbro never really made a proper one, and I really needed one. So you can see the Dr. Wu one's got some nice detail, but I think it's nothing compared to Iron Warrior. The Iron Warrior one has so much, like, raised detail. Like, that gold is raised right there. They're both really nice, and, like, I can see why people would want it in clear blue, but I actually think this is a much better color choice, because it really gives it the impression that it is glowing, you know? It doesn't have a light or anything. It doesn't. You know, it would be kind of great if this guy did have at least some sort of light integration. Oh, wait, he does! Are you tired of that yet? You probably should be. So up in his little old noggin, he has lights. And thankfully, mine came with the batteries. So I didn't have to worry about that. They're little button cell batteries. You'll be able to see them when I swap the faces. But you get this. And, if you don't drop it, you get this! And you may be wondering, what is this? It's a magnet. Because you put the magnet up to his head, make sure it's faced the right way, and, oh my gosh, and, why is it not working? It has worked perfectly every single time. And, so it was coming on, but when I swapped the faces, my dumb brain put in the battery pack the wrong way. So just rotating that the proper direction, and, oh no. Oh, jeez. I really just need to stop dropping stuff. And putting his scalp back on, jeez, it is pretty easy to do that. You can see, yes, his eyes do light up. As long as you're not an idiot putting in the light box the wrong way, his eyes do light up. And you just take the magnet to turn them off and turn them on. And I do have to say, I'm about to switch his head sculpt, so I do want to get close on this. The face plateless head is so nicely done. It really is. this face is just... this is Transformers Prime Optimus Prime right here. This is him. And I think the metallics and the light-up eyes, even without the light-up, even if you turn this off, they did... here, let me make sure it is off. There we go. They did actually use the same bright, kind of clear plastic as the Starsaber itself, so his eyes don't look dead. So that is an amazing choice. Honestly, it's one of the best plastic uses I've ever seen. This face looks incredible. And this is Transformers Prime Optimus. This is the Optimus Prime that made me fall in love with this franchise. So let me actually do that little face swap me do. So you take the scalp off, and then we're going to peel the face away. And it's kind of difficult doing it at arm's length like this with a camera in between me and the figure, but it's doable. So we'll kind of wiggle that out. Then here is the little light battery box. So you can see the little nodes in there, and then that's where the battery goes. So yeah, you just pretty much slot that in, and then it lights up, does the trick. But let me grab the faceplate face, plug that in, because I'm sure most of us, like, you know, we love Optimus Prime as a character. We don't mind having the faceplate face, or the faceplateless face on, but he's all about that faceplate. One thing I actually do turn the lights on before I put this back in to make sure I'm putting it in the right way. I just stupidly didn't while I was trying to film a video about this whole thing. But put the eyes back on, put the scalp back on, and look at that. That is Optimus Prime. This is the leader of the Autobots. I adore it. Absolutely adore it. And we haven't even gone over all the details on this thing. The figure itself is loaded with detail. Look at all of this silver, all of this metallic red. Look at the subtle little gold in the elbow, the little touch of silver on the shoulder pads. Looking around the shoulders, like if you see pictures of Optimus, you know, from this angle, all these details are accurate, even down to these little circles you see, and it's all nicely captured. These little details right here, I didn't even know were a detail of the character. These little things sticking off, but that's accurate. He has the tires back here. From what I can tell, they do seem to be rubber, and I love how they textured some weathering inside the treads. That looks so great. Maybe noticing this one's slightly off. That's because that's an articulation point, which is amazing. Look at that shoulder detail. Look at that. There are no Autobot logos on the Sky because it is a third-party product, and that might be something that bothers you. You know, it might be like, oh, it's not official. Like, I will buy a 3-0 Transformers Prime Optimus Prime, not an Iron Warrior 07 leader. Well, let me tell you something. This is from a cartoon that's 13 years old. Do you think 3-0 with their limited budget and character selection is going to go back and make Transformers Prime Optimus Prime? Because I don't think so. Look at the back. Look at all this detail. Look at how the smokestacks go into the body like that. It's so great. If there's one piece of detail I do have an issue with, it's going to be around the sides of the arms. When you lift the shoulder pad up, his bicep has a huge seam line going straight down it. That's one of my only problems with this guy. How I wish they would have done that. I wish the gray would have been a piece that needed to be sandwiched together, and there would still be a seam line on the inside of the arm, but I wish this red piece was a separate piece that plugged in to the side to cover that seam line. But thankfully, the shoulder pad is going to cover almost all of that most of the time. But in certain poses, I notice it, and it is a little frustrating. Going down the arms, look at all this little detail. Look at that brush right there, that brush work with that little bit of like silver black right there. The hands, the palms of the hands are made out of metal, but all of the fingers are articulated and plastic. Each normal finger has 2 hinges, and the thumb has actually 3 joints in it, so that is pretty impressive. The thighs on Prime Optimus are pretty simplistic, but I do appreciate some of the subtle blue detail. But getting down to the legs, look at these legs. Again, some amazing detail on the tires right there. The metallic blue looks gorgeous. Again, we still have like some little subtle battle damages and scratches on the blue. He does have these ankle guards, which are really beautifully captured. Look at the nice scuffing on that ankle guard right there. I like how the scuffing's a little heavier around the feet because that's how he walks. Again, some nice gold detail. And these things that look like hinges, guess what? They're hinges. They move. The back, I always love the little vents And the little blue panels on the back of his legs. And the lights, too. They captured the lights back there. Man, this really captures the robot mode perfectly. I don't think there is a single issue with the detail on this thing. If you want to go back and watch the show, you might be able to point out, oh, actually, that blah, blah, blah isn't blah, blah, blah. But you look at this, like from this video I'm doing, and you're like, yeah, that's Prime Optimus Prime. That is him right there. That is him. So before I show how all of his accessories integrate to the figure, I do want to go over his articulation so you can really see how well this guy can pose. So starting at the head, his head I'm pretty sure is on a ball joint up at the top, then it's a ball joint down below. So it's kind of got like a dumbbell up there. So you can get a lot of nice up, you can get a lot of nice down, especially if you tuck the chin in properly, and you get some nice side to side. So the head is very beautifully articulated. The shoulders, there is a butterfly joint. There's actually 2 butterflies, which give you a lot of range, and they expose even more detail in there. So you can get both shoulders doing the butterfly. So you can have that. That's very useful if you want them like dual wielding the Star Saber or something, or just for select poses. That's really well done. Going over the arms, he has a hinge for the shoulder pad, and then his arm rotates. So that's very nice. He has a hinge up here and then a bicep swivel. He does have double elbows, so the elbows move in very, very deep. And he also does have a swivel down at the forearm. If you want to use that to manipulate the arm cannons or a select pose, you do get that point of articulation there. For the hands, I did already kind of show them off. You do have a hinge in the arm, in and out. It's kind of squeaky because it's kind of, some metal rubbing against plastic. But each finger, has 2 joints per finger, so you can get it fisted, you can get it splayed out, you got a lot of range there. The thumb is on a hinge, and then it's also on a swivel to position the thumb, for thumbs up, for anything else you want Optimus Prime to do. He can do it. He can do it. So going back to his torso, he's got even more articulation. You might have noticed this a little bit. He actually does have a subtle upper torso rock, which can add a lot to a little pose, especially a subtle one. He does have an upper ab crunch and then a lower ab crunch. So you get a pretty decent amount of ab crunch with him. And you can see it does kind of expose a little bit of detail in his back, but you can kind of see some blankness right there. I do wish that was sculpted in or something, but it's still very commendable, the fact that he has this articulation. That's amazing. So his torso also has a hip rotation, or a waist rotation, I should say. These are the hips. The hips are very typical for modern day really nice robot figures because they have a drop down. So without the drop down, you can get the legs moved about, let's say, that much forward, but with the drop down, man, you can have them doing some pretty high kicks. And I love it. Absolutely love it. It does have a thigh rotation, but keep in mind that the sculpt is going to get in the way of that a little bit. He does have a double jointed knee that goes in all of the way, so that's amazing. And again, we get some awesome detail when we expose that knee joint, so that's really great. And then moving that back in, down to the foot, the ankle guards can move in and out. So if you need those out of the way, you can have those out of the way, which that is actually genuinely helpful for the ankle tilt. You can get the ankle tilted in, you can get the ankle rocked back, you can get the ankle rocked forward, and that is a separate toe joint. I've actually found it very useful, having the ankle rocked all the way back and then the toe all the way forward. That is very good for like select kneeling poses, crouching poses. So his articulation is insane. It's definitely worthy of being a figure of this standard, of this price point. The articulation is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I love kind of getting him in a lunging pose. Kind of having him like this a little bit. Get that hand out. And then for now, we'll just have him punching or something, I guess. I don't know. But look at this guy. This is Optimus Prime. And yes, it doesn't transform. I don't feel like every Transformers toy needs to. Because just look at this thing, man. Look at this. Do you think this needs to transform? Do you think something this detailed, this large, this posable, if it transformed too, great, but it would take away from the fact that this is supposed to be, essentially, going back to a 2007 reference, a robot replica. That's what this is supposed to be. And I love Transformers that transform. I do. Like, if I could only choose one Transformers Prime Optimus Prime to keep, it would probably still be this one, because it transforms. This is still an amazing figure, don't get me wrong. But this gives me something I've always wanted. I've always wanted a toy that truly and accurately represents the beautiful, gorgeous animation done for the show. And I think this pulls it off. This pulls off the poseability. This pulls off the detail. This pulls it off. And I have never been happier with a third-party product than this. I'm very happy that I've kind of moved past my, I don't like third-party. In some regards, there's still some things I've voiced it where, if it's like, it's the 5th version of this G1 character that Hasbro's already made 2 of, it's kind of like, what's the point? But if it's something like this, something that no other company would ever make, yeah, give it to me. Absolutely give it to me. So look at how that arm blade goes in. And both of them look this amazing. Like, look at that. Look at how the armor overlays the armor. Look at how that blade just shines so true. Man. And I love the hand, too. There's still a little bit of, like, Energon blue where the hand was. So it almost implies, like, that could be a little tiny pea shooter cannon or something. I don't know, man, but I love it. I absolutely love how that arm blade looks on him. That looks superb. And I do want to show as well the arm cannon. So let's do that on the other side. So, taking this hand out. I've noticed this hand is a little firmer than the right hand. Takes a little bit more wiggle room, but once we get that wiggled out. One thing I like doing to prevent paint scratching, which so far I've not noticed any paint scratching, but I like taking this and then plugging this into the arm, and then I plug this into the hand connector, and bada bing bada boom, there he is with the hand cannon. That looks incredible. That looks absolutely incredible. Look at that. Here, let's get that arm blade back, because he looks kind of he looks kind of weird with just one hand. That's just an easy plug-in. So look at that, dude. Once you start arming him up, he gets even cooler. He gets even cooler. And one amazing thing, too, with the forearm rotation, you can get the arm removed. And because this goes to an adapter, you can move that a little bit, too, if you need to angle it a certain direction for a certain pose. It's incredible. It truly is. It's so well executed. It's so well done. I've not really noticed any QC with this guy. My only QC issue I actually have noticed, this panel right here was actually detached out of the box. That pin right there had come undone, and that panel was out. But thankfully, the pin and that panel were still just resting in the styrofoam in the box. Or just the foam, actually. It's not styrofoam. So I was able to just retrieve that, push the pin back in, and we're all good. I do want to show how the blah, 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 the Star Saber goes on his back. So I'm just looking for all of the accessories. Let me put those lights back on his head real quick just to show how gorgeous he is. So flipping him around, you just take this, and where it goes in right there, we just hook it in right back here. Gorgeous. And then we take the deactivated Star Saber, and I don't really know which way it goes. It goes either way. I feel like it would make more sense with him grabbing it for it to be this way. So then it just kind of goes into that slot right there. And look at that. He is all armed up. Star Saber in the back. Gun and sword in the front. Incredible. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. I absolutely adore it. Man, I think that right there, what I'm looking at, is likely how I might display him. I love the look of the Star Saber in his back. I love the cannon and the sword. The hands are great too, though. I really like how they did the hands. Alright, one last accessory I gotta show. It will involve me removing this Star Saber, because that would make no sense for him to have two. And let me plug in this hand, so we can see how he looks with the Star Saber in hand. So, yep, that's incredible as well. Absolutely incredible. And his joints, for the most part, are strong enough to hold it up. I have noticed the upper elbow in like certain positions is too weak, but if you have the upper elbow bent enough, and you do also have the support of the lower elbow joint, he pretty much has no problem holding that sword up. Maybe over time it might droop, so keep that in mind. Over time that sword might droop. But honestly, this is another way I'm considering displaying him. Because Optimus Prime, once he got the Star Saber, was absolutely iconic in the show. Absolutely iconic. An amazing thing, too, with all the articulation you get, you can actually take that other hand, wrap it around, and we can have him. Check that out. We can have him with the Star Saber in front. Look at that. I'm noticing his ab crunch, his upper ab crunch, is not liking this too much. I can kind of tell, but these Star Saber accessories are very heavy. I didn't really point that out. They are very large and very heavy. So you might want to kind of get him in a forward lunged pose a little bit. But look at that. That's amazing. You can actually pull off a double-handed sword pose. Dude, come on. Here, let me turn his eyes off. I don't want to waste the battery too much. So that is pretty much it, guys. There is my look at the Iron Warrior IW-07 Leader Transformers Prime Optimus Prime. This toy has genuinely changed my collecting life. I adore these 3-0 styled figures. I absolutely adore them. And the fact that there is an Optimus Prime based on Transformers Prime in the 3-0 DLX style is incredible. I do appreciate and recognize that the IW-05 is like a masterpiece style scaled one, but I feel like if you have a masterpiece, almost leader class sized figure, it should transform. But if you have a figure this large and this highly detailed, I feel like this non-transforming robot replica 3-0 DLX style is really suited for it. Genuinely having this makes me want to get like a first movie Optimus Prime. I'm hoping 3-0 does one from the first movie, because they've only done Revenge of the Fallen so far, and I feel like if they re-released it for the first movie, added a few improvements, I think that could be really great. I feel like just having some of my favorite versions, so like first movie, this, Rise of the Beasts, all in 3-0 DLX style would be incredible. Having that in a display shelf or cabinet would be insane. And this figure right here, IW-07 Leader, is currently my favorite toy of 2023. We are pretty much at the end of July, and I've declared this my favorite toy of 2023. So we'll see if this is surpassed by anything. I'm not really including Hot Toys. You know, I kind of could. Honestly, including Hot Toys right now, this is probably still my favorite. Because I haven't gotten tons of, like, released in 2023 Hot Toys this year so far. It's pretty much just Clone Troopers, and I love those, but this is, like, on a whole other level for me. I adore it. Absolutely adore it. I do want to show it next to Soundwave one more time, just to kind of give you a sense of that scale one more time. So next to Bumblebee Movie Soundwave, which again, this was my favorite robot of, I think, didn't this come out 2021? Did this come out right at the end of 21, I think? I think so. I think I got it like December 21. This was my favorite robot of the year for that year. So we'll see with this Optimus, man. We'll see if this takes the cake as my favorite robot of this year. Favorite robot-wise, very likely. I'm very much looking forward to Deathsaurus and other stuff coming up. I don't think they're going to beat this. I don't think so. So there we go, guys. Let me stop rambling, because I could talk about this thing all day. When I unboxed it, I sent so many pictures and videos of it to my brother. He said, yo, I'm getting a little sick of it. Because it was so exciting, and it still is. I adore it. I just, like, looking at it right now, all that metallic, all the little subtle detail, I'm truly feeling like I'm looking at the character having leaped off the screen and onto my desk. This show won Emmys. It was that good. Transformers Prime, visually, was a stunning show. Best Transformers show, by far, visually. By far. Nothing has even come close. So having a toy that truly replicates the style of the gorgeous animation and the gorgeous detail and character design, Iron Warrior, I salute you. You have put so much effort into this product, and for it being unofficial, for it being third party, superb job. Absolutely superb. I really can't recommend this thing enough. It only costs about 150 United States dollars. I got mine for like 160, I think. So it's around, it's around like the smaller 3.0 DLX size. So it's like a Bumblebee price instead of like an Optimus Prime price. So you get a good deal for it. I think, like looking at this, I got $160 worth out of it, and I will continue to, because it's gorgeous. It's huge. It's immense. This is a huge deal. I personally ordered mine off of TF Safari. I'm not sponsored, but I do want to plug them because they are for me, a trusted retailer of third-party unofficial Transformers. I go TF Safari for everything nowadays like this. So I just wanted to, say that, put that out there, because some people may look at this and like, it's unofficial, this isn't on your big bad toy stores. I don't think so. It's not on your Hasbro Pulses, blah, blah, blah. Where can I order this? I just wanted to say where I ordered it. Alrighty, guys, I've rambled long enough. I just needed to make a video on this as soon as I got it. I literally got this yesterday, and I got it like right before I had to go to work, so I couldn't make a video on it yesterday. So I'm making a video today. Get this thing. I adore it. It has changed my collecting life. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.